This is a secret journal that I have been keeping for my soon-to-be husband, and he has no idea about it. I've briefly mentioned it in like one other video, but thankfully he never asked any questions about it, and I haven't shared it with you guys yet because obviously since I haven't told him about it, I didn't want to put it out there on the internet and then he would find out about it. But if you're seeing this video, I've already given it to him, so that's why I can finally tell you guys about it. Also, it is the exact same journal as my 27th journal, so if it looks familiar, that's why. But you can see it is much thicker. So I started this journal a couple years ago, 2 days after he asked me to be his girlfriend, and I have secretly been writing in it ever since. As of right now, we're still engaged, we're not married yet, but I plan to give it to him as a wedding gift. When I tell you, I cannot wait to see his reaction. I'm so excited. I left the cover page blank intentionally because I didn't know what I wanted to do with it when I first started the journal, but I do have this Polaroid from like 2 weeks into when we first started dating, so I feel like I could maybe tape it in and do something there. As I'm filming this video, I don't have much time left before we get married, so I need to figure that out soon. I'm gonna blur this out, but this is what the first entry looks like. Again, it was 2 days after we first became boyfriend and girlfriend. Basically, every single entry in this journal is like a letter to him, so I set it up the same exact way that I set up my daily journal entries, with the day of the week, the time that I start the entry, and the date. But then when I start it, I write it out as like I'm talking to him, like hi honey or whatever, and I write everything as if I'm talking to him. And then at the end of every entry, I sign it off with some sort of sign off with like, I love you so much, Carrie. Throughout the journal, I taped in a bunch of different pictures from our relationship, and it basically just tells the story of our love story from my perspective as it's going along. I have an entry on his birthday, lots of little pages like this with just writing. I write about our sweet memories together, how much I love him, everything that we've been through together. It just documents it all. This was a love letter that he wrote for me, and I taped it in here as well. There's a ton of pages like this where it's basically just like a scrapbook where I write next to the pictures of what memory it was or what we did together. Since he and I are long distance, I would often write while I was on the plane to go visit him. So I have quite a few entries like that, and then I also have plane tickets that I taped in from when him and I took a plane together and we were sitting next to each other, and so I have both of our plane tickets. And then if I ever visited him for like a week or two, I would then recap everything with all of the pictures and everything once I got back to Virginia. I taped in text messages, FaceTime screenshots. There's a lot of FaceTime screenshots since we are long distance, like I said. I wrote a lot of prayers in here for him, which is just so sweet to look back on. I wrote about when he first told me that he wanted to get married and how excited we both were. Obviously, I have a very long journal entry in here about when we got engaged, telling the whole story. So I wrote about it in my actual journal, which you guys saw when I made a video about it, but then I also wrote about it in here. I taped in a ton of engagement pictures. Just a lot of really sweet things, our birthdays, holidays. I taped in a little parking receipt for a date that we went on when we paid for parking. Just like little things like that. We also toured an apartment together, and I taped in pictures of the apartment that we ended up signing a lease for. He's living there now, but I still am living in Virginia because I'm finishing up nursing school, and then I'm gonna move there with him. But it's really cool to have like our first home together in this journal. And then since getting engaged, I've of course been writing about just this engagement season and how blessed we are. I still am not sure how I'm going to present it to him, if I'm just gonna like give it to him or build up to it in some way. I'm not sure, but I just am so excited. It's gonna be so fun to just give it to him and be able to sit down and read our love story together, literally as it was happening, my first person perspective over the years. That is just so sweet. It's seriously something I cherish so much, and I'm just proud of myself that I've been able to keep it a secret from him, especially as it's getting closer to getting married. I have been dying to say something. I think I also have an entry in here at some point where I'm like writing while we're on FaceTime, and he thought I was just journaling in my daily journal, but I was actually journaling in here. Also, when I first started writing in here, I didn't know how long we would be dating before we got married, and I also don't know if I originally planned to give it to him as a wedding gift or if I just was thinking it would be a gift at some point, and then like over time it transformed into a wedding gift. I honestly can't even remember, but because I didn't know how long it would be until we like got married or when I would give this to him, I wasn't like writing every single day. It was just kind of every so often, and you can see there's still like a little bit left at the end of the journal that I haven't filled up. I think it's around like 90 pages that I have left. I'm gonna continue writing in it up until we get married. I'm planning on even writing like the day before and the morning of just like today's the day and all of my thoughts and feelings, which I just think is the most special thing ever. And I've thought about giving it to him like at our wedding, but at the same time I also want to give it to him in private when it's just me and him, because I feel like that would be so special. But I'm not sure. I keep going back and forth because I actually went through my old journals and I compiled a bunch of little excerpts from over the years when I had written to my future husband, and I put it together in like a little speech. And as I was writing that, I was like, that would be the perfect way to just like build up to giving him this journal. But I've also thought about sharing that little speech thing that I put together at our actual wedding, which I feel like would be really, really sweet. But then if I did that at the wedding, then I I don't know if I would want to give this to him in front of everybody, just because I feel like it would just be extra special when it's just me and him. I'm looking at the pictures of those journal entries that I took, and I just like cropped them and put them into like a little speech format. The first one was from when I was 13 years old, and then I have one for like every single year when I was 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and then all the way up until our first date. But it's sweet because the first one from when I was 13 is just a list of qualities that I would want in a future husband. The one that I wrote when I was 17 was a little letter that I wrote to my future self about my future significant other and not taking him for granted and being grateful for every moment. It's really sweet to see those past journal entries because it's such a testament to how kind the Lord is and how he truly does care about the desires of our hearts. Even just like the little qualities that I described in my future husband, those all came true, and that is just really sweet. One of the things that I listed out was that I want him to have a smile that lights up the room and a laugh that is the best sound that I've ever heard. And I thought that was just like so sweet the way that I worded that. And my fiance literally has this rich booming laugh that is just so good, and everybody all the time always says how he has the best laugh and he has the biggest smile too. And so it's just like really sweet how even little things like that came true. I just cannot describe how blessed I am and just how excited I am to give this to him. But anyway, sorry I've been keeping it a secret for so long. It definitely is thick from all of the stuff that I've taped in, but it just like makes me so happy, and I'm glad I got to finally share it with you guys. Also, I've thought about printing out the little pictures of my old journal entries about my future husband and putting them in here as well. I'm thinking about maybe doing that before I give it to him. I don't know, I'm running out of time and I need to figure it out because again, by the time you're seeing this video, we'll already be married. Anyway, hopefully this gives some good inspiration for you guys in case you want to do something like this yourself. I'm so glad I finally got to share it with you. Sorry I've been keeping it a secret, but I hope you understand. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate and love all of you, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye guys.